Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're gonna have kind of a fun little discussion about polyglots and linguists because I know there's a lot of different ideas about what each of these two people are, and they sometimes are the same, but sometimes there are some differences between the two, and yeah. So we're gonna sit down and go over basically what my opinion of a linguist and a polyglot is, and also where I fit into these, because like if I consider myself to be a polyglot or a linguist. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's just get comfortable here, and basically, so here's what I think. So like when it comes to a linguist or polyglot or the two, like, so a linguist, if you're not familiar, because here on the internet there are, polyglots everywhere. Everyone's talking about becoming a polyglot, and I know that you've probably heard of this, and it almost even seems like this kind of exclusive community because it's like it speaks so many languages, and you have to speak many languages to be part of it, or you have to speak, I believe the definition is, and I will pop it up here on the screen when I'm editing this video to double check, but to speak more than 2 languages proficiently, or to speak several languages proficiently, and then several is defined as 2 or more than 2. So that is your definition for a polyglot. And then for a linguist, so linguist is, in my opinion, it's a little bit different because it's not necessarily like, let me straighten this out a little bit. I hate it when I'm not centered. So a linguist is not quite the same because you don't necessarily have to speak multiple languages to be a linguist. So like in the study of linguistics, and I've taken many linguistics classes in college and just also studied like even my book, Becoming Bilingual, is essentially like a linguist, like an applied linguistic style book, because it's about the language learning process and the bilingualism process. So to be a linguist, you don't necessarily have to speak multiple languages, right? You can just study language. So I believe that's the key difference here between the two, is that a polyglot speaks multiple languages, right? And then a linguist maybe doesn't speak multiple languages, but studies language. So what does that mean to study language, right? So basically it's like if you study the language itself. So like you're studying the structure of language, if that makes sense. You're getting into like the phonology, starting at the very, very basics, right, with those sounds, and then you're going into sentence structures, and you're getting into the syntax and the morphology, and like how the words are comprised and how everything is put together into those sentence structures, and then the semantics, all of the meaning, all of that. So you don't necessarily have to have multiple languages to study linguistics because it's the study of language itself. And that's why what I teach is to learn any language, because it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're studying so many languages. You're studying language itself, right? You're studying language acquisition itself. So within that process, like that's linguistics. And of course, yeah, many times linguists do study languages, like they do learn multiple languages. So there is that connection between a polyglot who speaks multiple languages and a linguist who studies what language is. And many times those are the same people, but there are also many people who just study linguistics, especially like here in America, where they don't speak many languages, but they study language or linguistics, and maybe they like dabble in some of the languages, like they study the basics, the structures and all of that, but then don't take those languages to full proficiency, but they still study languages. So the key here is like, am I a polyglot? According to this definition, no, I am not. But am I a linguist? I mean, technically I study languages. So I study language, I study the process of language learning, I study language itself. So I most fit into that linguist category more than the polyglot category, and that is completely okay. Like, I feel like there's such this, like, exclusivity to this, and it really doesn't have to be that way. Like, we can just study languages. We don't have to worry about how many we speak and just go at, you know, our own pace, our own way. And whether that is learning multiple languages, if that's you, then that is awesome that you want to do that and that you have that, and that's great. And if you want to just study language itself, if you want to just study a couple of languages and just really nail them and just you're happy with just having a couple, that is also completely okay. So yeah, that is my opinion of what a polyglot and what a linguist is, and if you have your own, feel free to leave it down below in the comment section, and I'll be happy to discuss this with you because I know there are just so many different ideas of what these things are. So yeah, feel free to drop it down below, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Oh, you guys need your Snoopy time today.